Hitting high notes with this songbird next. I'm so happy to sit with today's guest. From Grammy-nominated singer to actress to musical theater gracing the stages of the productions like Dreamgirls, Thriller, Ain't Misbehaving, and the Vagina Monologues, and those are just to name a few, all while receiving rave reviews. I'm a fan of this woman. She's just always so poised with this super polished voice of hers. Please welcome to Transcend the beautiful, talented, and fabulous Trenyce.
Thank you so much for that. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you, love?
I am well. I'm feeling great.
I'm just so excited to sit with you. You know, I'm a huge fan of yours. I just adore the woman that you are, the beauty that you bring to the world, to the stages, and also to your Instagram. So, thank you for
Thank,
being here.
thank you. And I feel the exact same way about you. I've been following you for so long. I absolutely adore you.
You began singing at 2 years old, and in fact, your parents were both singers and actually met while performing. So I'm sure they played a major part in you becoming the artist you are today. Also, after winning a talent contest with none other than Jennifer Holliday being a judge, telling you that you are going to be a superstar. Did you feel pressure to live up to that from her and your parents?
Music has come so naturally for me. It always felt like playtime. I was that child that was lost in their bedroom, creating songs and producing for friends and, making up songs and things like that from a very young age. So it just it just felt natural to me. It felt very natural. Hearing that from Jennifer Holliday, though, put the stamp on it. My mom has been talking about who she was and Dreamgirls and all of that for most of my life. We're very much into music and theater and that type of thing, and also Black artists specifically. So I knew exactly who she was, and her compliment just it just kind of put me over the edge and gave me that extra boost that I needed to continue to be an artist.
That's so major. Although American Idol may have played a part of your big break, you were performing in slaying stages way before then. However, Queen, you made it to the top five of your season. What was that moment and experience like for you?
Oh, wow. Idol gave me the ability to finally come out of my shell. I had been doing songs on stage and performing and dancing and all of that all of my life. But what American Idol did was it took me to the next level, and it allowed me to see that this is what I really wanted to do, because that schedule was so hectic. I mean, we were up from 5 o'clock in the morning, all the way to maybe midnight. And so it just gave me, it was like you had to be on your stuff. You had to practice, you had to be focused, you had to be driven. And so for that, and also be able to take the lumps and the bumps that came along with the industry as well. So it gave me all of that, all of that toolage that you cannot get from just sitting in a classroom or taking a music class, because I went to school on a scholarship, but American Idol just gave me so much more to work with and to decide, yes, this is absolutely what I want to do.
I love that you touched on that because that's what I would like to know. We all know that this is a tough industry that comes with many highs and lows that we all face throughout our journey. On a personal note, has there ever been a moment that you've experienced the ugly side of the business that has strengthened you, but also forced you to understand the power of forgiveness? And if so, what does forgiveness means to you?
Yeah, well, actually, there were plenty of incidents on set of the show, on the set of American Idol, where I kind of felt like I was left on my own as a Black woman. Everything from the way my makeup looked on camera to them trying to figure out what to do with my hair. And luckily for me, I had Bird, the vocal coach at the time, to kind of help me through it. But being that young and not really knowing, I knew how to express myself, but not really getting the feedback that I thought that I was going to get. It prepared me also for what generally happens on a lot of the sets in this industry, where we don't have the proper, and this, we don't have the proper um, person of color that's there to say, listen, she needs a hot iron, she needs weave, she need whatever that is. And also color matching. We've just stepped into an era of not having to blend makeup together in order to match your tone. So there was a lot of little things like that. And just kind of being the only dark skinned girl um, on set as well. And I do mean on set. So all of those things kind of made me feel a little bit like an outcast. And also like I was begging for something, or being treated like, oh, she's being a diva, she's asking for too much, when really those are just minimal things that you should just generally not have to ask for and just get, so that you're not worried about how you're looking and how you're coming across on stage. So, and the thing about forgiveness, there are so many things. It's not just Idol, just across the board in the industry where you know that you're going to be taken for a ride in some instances. And you just have to, I think it gave me thicker skin. It made me more of a businesswoman, even when I didn't think I had to be, or even when I was like, I'm just a singer, this isn't what I do. You have to become a businesswoman and know what you want and be okay with being powerful and dedicated to your craft, because you know what you're going to bring to the table. So I figure the more that you know what you want, the less you have to have people trying to figure it out for you and putting you in places and situations that you don't want to be in. But it took a lot of forgiveness on my end as a young performer, not really knowing what to do or how to handle myself. And sometimes even now, I have to kind of go, okay, what's the best way to get my point across without coming off like I'm being too aggressive? And sometimes you can, and sometimes you absolutely cannot. And you just have to just smile and push and just go to the next thing.
You hit so many major powerful points that as artists, as black women, as black individuals that we face, that it really does come with the territory. And I'm so happy that you gave the insight to those who may be thinking of joining the business, because from speaking from someone from being a hairstylist in my past and also now being the talent it's like I'm so grateful that I have those gifts and tools, because
Yeah.
it is a major setup and people do not realize the importance of when you don't feel good. It shows in your work, you feel it in your work, and you can be going ready to give it your A game, but when all of just the look and everything else is not ready, it really does affect it affects the work. So I'm so happy that you touched on that.
Absolutely. And that's just perfectly put, because on the set sometimes I just did not feel like I could give my best because I knew I didn't look my best. I knew I didn't feel my best. And so just looking back on it now, it's almost like when your mother breaks out your baby pictures, or and you're just like, "Oh my God, I feel so embarrassed." I would have those moments of wanting to hide from the camera or hide those videotapes and be like, please put that away, that's not even who I really was. And I could see myself being so introverted and scared and not all I knew that I could be. So yeah, but I forgive that moment in time. It was a different moment in time, but what I'm proud of is that more women of color behind the scenes and in front of the camera are starting to make sure that we look and feel our best, and that we're just saying it out loud, that this makes me uncomfortable, that I'm sorry, but hair and makeup needs to be diversified and things like that. So I'm glad that we finally reached that point in the industry where people are starting to take notes of that and pay more attention to it.
Well, now let's get into some of your more iconic moments, Miss Grammy nominee. You played the one and only Diana Ross in the Motown musical and have covered the legendary voice Whitney, which Billboard magazine included in 100 Best Idol Performances. What does that mean to Trenyce as an artist?
I can pinch myself because I grew up on both of those women. To me, I call Diana Ross the blueprint, because she's the very first Black pop star ever. I don't care who you love, she's the blueprint. That's where it started. Barry Gordy did an incredible job of making sure that her star shined across the board, that everyone wanted to be Diana Ross. Her poise, her assertiveness, her angelic nature, all of that stuff came across the screen. And even her assertiveness, you could see that even in her characters that she played. But what I loved was that she came from nothing. She created who she wanted to be, and she never took her foot off the gas. And when it came to Whitney Houston, Whitney, I just finally found a voice that connected with mine. I finally was able to listen to someone and see someone perform on stage the way that I feel like that's what I want to do. That's who I want to be when I grow up. And so those two women, I think they just set the bar for me. They really, really did. And it's as an artist, you always want to be able to figure out who you are. And if I want to follow anybody, I want it to be someone who's full of grace, poise, and just know who they are as an artist. And both of those ladies are just top tier to me.
Agreed. And poised you are, from your singing voice to your speaking voice. You're just so eloquent and just so. And I hate when people say that to a black person, but from one sister to another, you just have the most beautiful, softest, purest voice. I'm so thankful that you were here joining us today and sharing your story. I'm happy I had the pleasure again of just really connecting with you.
Oh, you. Thank you so much, beautiful. Thank you for having me and even thinking of me. So, um, this is awesome. I
Absolutely.
feel good.